Namaste to everybody, Tashi Delek to everybody, good evening to everybody. I'm making this video at Kathmandu. I arrived here 2 days ago and I already had some very different stories. And I want to talk to you about Tibetan Buddhism, even if I'm not Tibetan. I'm a Westerner, and I'm 100% convinced that also Westerners are able to practice and even to teach Tibetan Buddhism. And I see different people going different ways, and these ways are just now separating because we are living in very tough times, especially in the West, in all the domains. There is big crisis in health system, there is crisis in school system, and there is also big crisis in Tibetan Buddhism, which especially has shown the story with the Dalai Lama. You know my opinion. I was very touched because 1 or 2 days after Lama Zopa, which was one of the greatest masters, a real master, one from the old one, which are leaving now our planet, which is very difficult. He was passing away. And I thought it was a very interesting coincidence, but I don't believe in coincidences, that he was also from the Gelug, exactly from the school of the Dalai Lama. So Tibetan Buddhism is passing a sad time, and everybody now in the East and the West, but in the East there is very few people using their brain in Buddhism. We have to decide which way we are going. If we just want to follow some gurus and give them a lot of pressure because we want to give them the whole responsibility for our life, and this is not their duty. And I also know some masters which are really suffering for that because it's a big burden for them. They are not responsible for our partnership or for our money or so on. This is our duty. They are just there for showing us the way, and especially the way to our own heart. And I'm 100% convinced that now the time of Maitreya has come. The time of Maitreya, the Buddha of the future. And this Buddha just means that everybody can understand that he has the Buddha nature inside. That we even don't need gurus on a high throne, which are speaking about enlightenment. And I know some of them which are talking about enlightenment, and especially they think that they are enlightened. And I tell you something, a really enlightened person will never talk to you about his or her enlightenment, because they are just very humble. They have a very big compassion. They are just here for helping the sentient beings. And I know one of them very near. It's a friendship which is something very important in my life. And for example, after the story with the Dalai Lama, I think it was 2 days after, I don't know, 1 day, 2 days, Lama Zopa was leaving his body. And this is a very big sadness for real Buddhist practitioners, because Lama Zopa, he was a very big teacher, a real one, an authentic one. He was very interested for all the sentient beings, and especially the animals. And he was really here for help, for bodhicitta, having a big compassion. And the Buddhism of the future, Buddhism of Maitreya, is this kind of compassion. And I must say, I know very well these Buddhist monasteries. I know a lot of them. I had them in my house. A Rinpoche, which since he is near to enlightenment, but he just have a very big arrogance. A Kempo, a Lama. From the Lama, for example, I heard many years ago, because he wanted to go also to Portugal. I was paying the flight, I was paying the visa, I was paying the food, I was paying the insurance. In the end, he also wanted to go to Portugal to meet his brother there. And there I refused, because I had the responsibility. And I told him, dear Lama, if you're going to Portugal and you will face a problem, health problem, it's me which will have a very big problem. So no, you cannot go to Portugal. You know what the answer was. You just have a very small heart like all the women. Thank you very much. We were also giving some teachings. I must say it was especially me which was giving the teachings, because he didn't really have a knowledge. Just was learning something by heart. And we were making 3,000 Swiss francs, which is a lot of money for Nepal. You know what he was telling me? This is not enough. With this money I can do nothing. But I saw other ones which are really working for the sentient beings. I have a very dear friend in the Rumtek monastery at Sikkim, which is so much connected with the animals. We have a project together for the street dogs there. Now also the cats are coming to him. All the dogs are coming to him because they love him very much. This is compassion. This is real Buddhism. And I know a very well-known and very high teacher. I met him yesterday here in Kathmandu, more than 1 hour. It's the person I have seen in my life with most of compassion, with most of respect, with the biggest respect for me as a woman. And I'm very grateful for him, because he is really giving me the courage and the trust to go on this path. Because even if I was making so many bad experiences, so many delusions, especially with men in the monastery here, I must say there are also other people which has this love, which have this compassion, which have this respect from the old masters. And this is Buddhism of the future, because Buddhism is not just putting a nice Buddha there, or hanging some prayer flags, or talking about Tibetan culture, that in Tibetan culture is usual they want that children are sucking their thumb. No, sorry, bullshit. This is just bullshit. And this has nothing to do with Buddhism. So if you are interested in Tibetan Buddhism, you have to make your decision. Do you want to live from your full heart? Then you're a real practitioner. You're a real Buddhist. But it's not an easy way, because you will see all the bad things which are happening. You will lose your illusions. That's what happened to me, and it's not a nice way. I even got very sick. I was helping too much people, and I was forgetting myself. And especially I was forgetting that I have a body, and that I have to be very careful with my body. Please don't forget that. Because our body is our vehicle. And if we are just in some spiritual bubble and, oh, I love you all and all this blah blah. I had friends like them. This is not spirituality, this is not Buddhism, this is just a bubble. And one day this bubble will pop, will be destroyed. And they already now, they are feeling that this will happen. And they don't want to see it because they only want to see the beautiful part. But if you are a real Buddhist practitioner, you see everything. You see everything also in yourself. You see that you still have a big anger inside maybe, or sadness, or frustration, or sometimes losing patience, and so on. That's what's happening to me. I'm not a perfect one. But I have the light of Trulci Rinpoche inside, which was a living Buddha. His reincarnations from my root guru are going back to Ananda, the cousin of Buddha. And it was like a candle for me, which lightened the candle in my heart. And I'm very grateful for that. And this is the reason why I'm going on by practicing real Buddhism. And especially the way of Guru Rinpoche for me, which was the founder of Tibetan Buddhism. So I will finish with the prayer, or with his mantra, Om Ahung Vajaguru Pema Siddhiham. And I hope that Guru Rinpoche, but especially also Yeshe Tsogyal, which was his consort, she was the female enlightened energy. And that's what a lot of people here in the monasteries, they don't want to see female enlightened energy because they feel it's dangerous for them. And please don't forget Yeshe Tsogyal. Thank you so much. Dhanyabad Tudiche. Have a nice evening.